How you doing, everybody? It's still the 18th of January, Monday the 18th, 2010, and it's around 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm sorry about all this. This all should have been posted up on YouTube, but as I say, there was a problem, and I think it's the final little posting that I make in this little clip. You'll see what I'm talking about. I think somewhere or other they must have a way of detecting it or something. Maybe it's in the headings that you put up, because I've had to take that heading down and put another one that's going to knock you up, and I'm going to do that in future, but because I have no other way of dealing with it. I mean, if they won't let you post it, they won't let you post it, but I wish they'd tell you if there was a problem with the content, to tell you the content's inappropriate or something like that, right? Or indicate. I mean, this is supposed to be about politics. That's what we're supposed. These are controversial subjects that we're discussing. So anyway, the first thing I want to talk about is I just want to do the continuum of the Morgan Kelly thing. And we all know what the Morgan Kelly thing was about. It was a discussion about the whole credit bubble that we're involved in. And one of the things that came out of it was the final little element that he drew up was the crisis in Irish banking at the moment over mortgage repayments, and how the whole reduction of credit within Irish society and the fact of unemployment, etc., is going to create a crisis within Irish banks. And I was quoting the fact that an article, a small article, had appeared in, I think it was the Independent or the Irish Times over the weekend, about the number of people who were unable to make mortgage repayments over the last couple of months. And I wanted to find out where they got that information, because it wasn't very clear in the article. And eventually I found it. It was a couple of days ago, and it's an original article out of the Independent, and it relates to Moody's did the survey. Moody's, a rating agency, did the survey. And the survey basically says as follows: it affects 26,000 people. It's 3.3% of the total mortgage market, okay, in Ireland. So what do I say, except a year ago it was only half that amount, and they reckon at the end of this year it could be between 5 and 6%. Now, if it is 5 or 6% of 110 billion, you're talking about 6 or 7 billion euros. This is serious amounts of money. Now, what about that's just one aspect of personal finance. All right. What about credit cards? What about personal loans? What about small business loans? What about all those things? They're going to be affected on a similar scale. You know what I mean? In fact, the one that's going to be the least affected, I think, is going to be the mortgage, because that's the thing that most people try to pay, except that we're in the negative equity situation, which doesn't help, obviously. That's a big no-no. But, you know, the banks have a major problem with this, because even if they do seize these properties or take these properties back from people, what are they going to do with these properties? They can't do nothing with them. There's no market out there to sell them, because people cannot get finance. The banks are in a complete restructured, deleveraging situation. They are pulling all their tentacles in. There's no more credit going to be given out, no more small business loans. All that is an illusion. It's a falsity. Anybody living and believing that that is going to happen is living in an altered universe, cloud cuckoo land. It is not going to happen. Alright? Property prices are only set for the foreseeable future to go one way, and that's south. That way. And anybody believing any different is just dreaming. They're absolutely dreaming. Anyway, that's basically all I wanted to say. So it comes from Moody's. They did a survey of Irish banking, and the final thing that they said was that they believe that unemployment is going to go from a 12.5% official state level now that they're giving out to around 14% by the end of the year. But I think it'll be more than that. But it doesn't matter, right? It's going to increase, all right. And we also know that the number that's on the live register is about 25%, 26% of the total employment pool in Ireland. 2.2, 2.3 employable million people in Ireland, and there's between 460 and 500,000 on the live register. So that'll give you an idea what's going on. the overall picture is bad. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it, and it ain't going to get better for the foreseeable future. The final thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about Nicolas Sarkozy, and I want to talk about the fact that he's talking at the moment about introducing a law through the French parliamentary system whereby people who wear burqas or people who hide their face will not get a French citizenship, and people in public who wear them in public, they can't identify themselves to the police, will be taken or removed to a police station until they can identify themselves. Do you understand? Now, I just want to say something to Mr. Sarkozy if I can. This is just my little opinion about it, because when I read it, I thought to myself, my God, what is this all about? I mean, look, there are ways of handling things and there are ways of doing things. In principle, Mr. Sarkozy, I know where you're coming from, and I would in the main agree with the thrust of where you're going. But I just want to tell you a couple of things about the facts of life. Number one, the vast majority of these Muslims that are living in France are your Muslims. They're a residue of your imperial past. Alright? It's number one. Number two, you as France, as the mother of all the republics, have a very, very bad track record vis-a-vis women. You didn't introduce female suffrage until 1944, and it was only communists and lefty socialists within the Maquis who demanded it, and they got it because they fought as bravely as their fellow male contemporaries to bring about the liberation of France. So you and your predecessors had no option but to give it to them. But you were one of the last nations in Europe. The Brits had introduced it by 1918, and we had it here in 1918. So don't get on a high horse about this, because your record vis-a-vis women's rights is not all that shit hot like. Okay? And that's really all I want to say. I think the road you're going down is a very dangerous road. I would handle it with kid gloves, and I would have a whole coterie of Muslim advocates and experts in Muslim thinking to give me advice on it. And I wouldn't be adopting the attitude you're doing this as a vote catching operation. And I can tell you something, that could grab you by the arse. You could get your arse scalded on this, mister. I'm telling you that, because that does not read good to me. I don't want to be lecturing you. You're the president of a great republic, but I think you should have a second thought about that and how you're going to deal with that matter. That's all. Listen to me talk tomorrow. Okay? Bye.